Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little magical. We're taking a crochet pattern and turning it into this amazing stuffed creature. We're going to break it all down step by step. Okay, let's dive right in. So this is what we're making. Meet the Abobruxa. How cute is that? In the next few minutes, we're going to walk through exactly how you can bring this adorable little pumpkin witch to life. Yep, we're turning some simple yarn into, well, this. All right, first things first. Every magical creation needs the right ingredients, right? It's like a recipe. So let's take a look at everything you're going to need to begin your project.
So here's our recipe. You've got your yarn for the pumpkin, the head, and the hat. Then you'll need a hook, some stuffing, and of course, those little safety eyes. Those are super important. They really give it personality. Okay, before we cast on, let's just quickly learn the lingo. There are a couple of key terms you're going to see all over this pattern, and trust me, knowing what they mean makes everything so much easier. First up is pei-bei, or ponto baixo. That's just a fancy way of saying single crochet. And this is basically V-stitch. It's the fundamental building block we're going to use for pretty much the whole doll. It creates this nice, tight fabric so the stuffing doesn't peek out. And then there's which means increase. Super simple. It just means you'll make 2 stitches in the same spot instead of 1. This is how we make the piece wider. It's how we create those great curves for the round head and the plump little pumpkin body. So understanding this one is absolutely crucial.
All right, let's get to it. We're going to start building the body. We'll crochet the pumpkin first, and then the head.
So here's the round by round pattern for the pumpkin. You can see how it works. You increase, you do some straight rounds, then you decrease. But check out that note. You'll want to add the stuffing as the piece gets taller, not all at the end. Makes it way easier. Now this is where the real magic happens. See that? After it's all stuffed, you take a long piece of yarn and you basically sew through the center, pulling it tight to create those classic pumpkin segments. It goes from just a round ball to something that looks exactly like a pumpkin. So cool. Okay, now for the head. This part's pretty quick. It's basically the same idea as the pumpkin, a simple sphere that's going to sit right on top. You'll be using those same increase and decrease techniques you just mastered. But wait, don't forget the eyes. This is a really crucial step. Getting the placement just right is what gives this little doll its soul, you know? And here's the cheat sheet for that. You're going to use 7mm safety eyes, and you'll want to place them between rows 6 and 7, and make sure there are about 4 stitches between them. This is what gives your Abobruxa that perfect, charming expression. Okay, the body's built. Now we get to the fun part, adding character. This is how we bring our Abobruxa to life, with all the little accessories. First up, of course, the witch's hat. This pattern starts right at the tiny tip and then widens out to create that iconic pointy shape. It's a really clever construction. Next, a tiny little leaf. This part is super fast, just a quick 1-row pattern. You'll stitch it right onto the side of the hat. I know it's a small detail, but it adds so much charm, a little touch of nature. And to finish the look, a lovely ruffled collar. The way this is made is so smart. You basically just work a ton of stitches into a simple chain, and it naturally ruffles up. It's going to sit perfectly between the head and the pumpkin body and tie the whole look together. And with that, you've made all the pieces. The hard part's over. Now it's time for the final assembly and all the finishing touches. So, final assembly. It's pretty straightforward. Step 1, stitch the head securely to the top of the pumpkin. Step 2, drape that cool collar around the neck. And 3, pop the hat on the head and stitch it in place. Easy as that. And there it is. All those individual parts have come together to create your very own handmade Abobruxa. It's pretty amazing, right? You took simple yarn and turned it into this magical little character. So, what you should really take away from this is not just a pattern, but the inspiration to make it your own. Now that you know the secret, what magic will you create? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.